Hey, what's happening? Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 7 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I probably look a little wet. I just went on a 4 mile walk, and I've said this before. I always do my best thinking when I'm outside walking, exercising. And it is just ridiculously tropical here in Connecticut today. And I was thinking about this video from the last video I did about Leandro De Niro. And another article I was reading about Donald Trump in his Article 47, and I decided to make this video, and I wanted to get in here as quick as possible before I got off topic, and so that's why I'm still away here. Okay, let's get into this. Trump Article 47. Now it involves a lot of things. Apparently, all of them very scary, kind of dystopian, fascist. There's no other way to describe this, fascist plans for the United States if he were to become president again. The links will be down below so you can read this yourself, but I'm just going to focus on one particular thing, dealing with the use of capital punishment and dealers that deal illicit substances. I have to watch how I say things in the first 30 seconds of this video with my monetization. Having been involved in this for decades, I mean, nobody wants to see these substances stamped out. I say that knowing that'll never happen, but nobody would like to see that more than me. You know, every day, every single day for the last 16 years, 8 months, 9 months now, every day I have to deal with cravings and remember that at any time a trigger could pull me back into this nightmarish world of substance abuse. So nobody wants to see this stomped out more than me. All right, but I want to talk about this. First, let's talk about how I imagine. Now, let me know if I'm wrong, but how I imagine a lot of people on the right. I don't want to politicize this video. I really don't, but I think people see this a different way from different sides. Especially, I've been talking about right-wing media and their brainwashing of people, and I would really like to talk about this as a health issue, but people are viewing this in two distinctly different ways. I believe that people on the right are looking at this, especially like with fentanyl and everything, they're looking at this as gang members from Mexico coming up here and poisoning, good, honest kids and Americans and U.S. citizens. And that's what's happening here. Mexicans poisoning kids. And let me tell you how I see it here. Let me ask you this question. Okay, say Trump did institute this capital punishment. All right. What I see, what we have here is millions of Americans, both in addiction and the beginnings of addictions, far in addiction, or even kids on college campuses. I'll get into that more in a second. I remember going to my friends all went to college, to Boston University, MIT, Syracuse, University of Connecticut, and I remember going to see them a couple times a year. And these are good kids, came from good homes and everything, and whenever we'd go to visit, they'd go out and find their way to get something to try, to get some substances here or there. I remember MIT, my friend at MIT, was into chemical engineering, and he knew somebody that could get LSD. Now, imagine if Trump's Article 47 went into effect. And, I know people on the reply, a lot of people parents don't want to believe this, but, back, I was 18 or 19, 20 years old one time, and I saw this over and over again. I'm sure you guys did too. And once this Article 47 is in effect, what would you want? What if your kid got swept up in this? Like he was like, say, my friend, the in-between guy, and now he's looking at capital punishment. Okay, so like I was saying, there's millions of Americans literally waving wads of money, saying, I need to get this, I want to buy this, I need somebody to sell me this. Seriously, that's how it goes. Millions of Americans waving billions of dollars in various degrees of addiction, plus college kids just trying it out for the first time with money. Now, you use this Article 47, this capital punishment, on the dealers that are selling them this. What's going to happen then? Is that going to slow down or stop those Americans with those millions of dollars saying, sell me this, sell me this? Is that going to stop them whatsoever? No, not in the least. As a matter of fact, more than likely they're going to wave around more money. It's going to become more profitable. The danger degree will go up. The paranoia degree will go up amongst the dealers, leading to more violence. And the people wanting to buy it are just going to wave around more money, making it more profitable. I remember being in recovery, and I remember counselors talking about how they don't use the threat of dying to influence people in addiction, because it doesn't, the thought of dying doesn't really, they've already come to a point where the thought of dying isn't a threat. And it's the same thing with dealers. It's really not a threat. Okay, so like I said, once these dealers are eliminated, what's going to happen? Is that going to stop any of these people, these millions of Americans with billions of dollars, from offering more money? Where there's a demand, there's going to be a supply. Now let's talk about the different levels of dealers. At the very bottom, there's the college kids, the go-between kids like me. Not just college kids, but just younger in between, going to experiment, finding somebody who's selling this, could get caught up in this. Then, inevitably, there's people that use, like I was, and sell in between, or what are called middlemen. Like I would have a bunch of people that were too scared to go into the city and do deals where I had dealers. So they would come to me, I would go into the city, I would take them, I'd take their money, I would get a slice off it and give it to them. And that's how you manage to get to use hundreds of dollars of drugs every day, is by doing that. There's tens and thousands, hundreds of thousands of addicts doing this across the country. So they'll be getting swept up in this Article 47. The people that won't be being swept up are the people at the very top. The people that are using other people to do the most dangerous jobs. The people that are really responsible for a lot of the importing and the big money that goes into this. So are we talking about, if you have money and you can afford a good attorney, then you're not going to face capital punishment? Is it just going to be one class of people that are going to be eliminated? And really, what about this? If you're talking about people like me, an addict dealing with the disease of addiction, and I'm a middleman and I get swept up in this Article 47, capital punishment, you're actually talking about executing somebody because they have a disease. I mean, that's really the bottom line. I mean, some people on the right, they don't want to look at it, they don't want to look at it this way. The Fox News and Newsmax and One America are presenting it as these terrible immigrants coming across the desert with supposedly with their backpacks, digging holes and climbing fences, and because of the weak, I think they can solve this through violence, through threats of violence and intimidation, and the same thing with naval blockades of Mexican ports. These ideas, I think they appeal to the far right conservative voters. But if you have any clue of reality, you realize that this won't work. The only way to stop drugs from coming to the country is to stop people from waving around that money. And the only way to do that is to work on helping people treating addiction. That's the only way you could slow down. I think addiction and substance abuse is going to be with societies for the foreseeable future. But the way to slow it down, the way to treat this, isn't with the threats of the death penalty, which I think will sweep up the least guilty people, and in specific classes will be the ones made to pay. And the people at the very top will continue doing their business because they have the good lawyers and they can find the loopholes, and it'll be just one class of people, and the people that are actually suffering from the disease of addiction getting executed. Like I said, fascist dystopian ideas. And this is just one of as many Article 47 ideas. I'll put the link down below. I'm going to talk about this more in the future. There's so much more I want to talk about. Have a good Saturday.